Okay, we're live. Peace and blessings, collective. We are coming here again from this red tent. As you guys know, this is day 3 of our Yoni Love Herbals launch for the products line. I am super excited because I am here and surrounded by 3 amazing women who are entrepreneurs in the community and who are changing the face of Black commerce and economics in our community, as well as in women's health and other areas. And so I just felt like it would be a good idea for us to come today to share some of our thoughts, tell how we began on this path, and to enlighten you guys a little bit about what our plans are for the community, what we want to do with Yoni Love Herbals. If you did not get a chance to watch earlier, then I just want to mention that Yoni Love Herbals was launched on Wednesday, May 26th. We will be going live on Walmart.com on Sunday, which is super, super, super news for us, and we're really excited about that, as well as 2 opportunities that we have for business. The first opportunity is a program called the Yoni Love Ambassadors. It is a program for those women who are interested in becoming affiliate marketers and are looking for ways to bring in extra income into the family and into their homes through the Yoni Love Herbals line. If you are interested, please make sure that you email thisredtent@gmail.com and I will send the information out to you. And then the second opportunity is a franchise opportunity that we will be launching in the beginning of June, at the new moon of June, and it will be an opportunity for you to get a piece of the very large Yoni Love pie. So without further ado, I want to go around the table and introduce the sisters that are here and let you guys just start to dive in to what we have to say. So the first young lady that I have here is Professor Dana McKellar from the Campus of Care for Women and Children. I have Valerie Quarterman in the back, who is my mother and very dear friend of mine from Creative Touch. I have Sister Kajimni Mary Canute. She is from the Holistic Healers Network. And then, of course, myself from this red tent. So we're going to start with Sister Professor Dana McKellar, my sister, and ask her, what was the passion behind creating the Campus of Care for Women and Children?
Well, thank you, Sister Hadida, and it is wonderful to be here on this panel with some great leaders and entrepreneurs in the country and globally. I believe all of us have a global touch, but my first realization that I would impact sexual health and reproductive medicine was when I was 8 years old and I learned about the Tuskegee experiment. And all of my life I studied and planned to be able to make an impact. We deal with infertility, with prenatal loss, menopausal issues, and other issues affecting womanhood. We have offices in Philadelphia and Dallas, and right now we're working on a campaign to educate everyone about preeclampsia. 1 in 5 women in the world will die of preeclampsia, and I am a part of a team of scientists who would like to see preeclampsia go away during this decade.
Yes.
Thank you. And just to give a word about how everyone talks about the pandemic and how awful it has been, and we don't want to take away from that. Each of our families have been impacted, but thanks to Sister Hadida and others in our network, we have been able to launch the Maternal Fetal Voice, which is our journal that publishes every other month. You get 60 days worth of information, and we are highlighting scientists and clinicians for us, by us. Thank you.
Yes. So I have another question for you. What are some of the products that the Campus of Care for Women and Children offers to the community?
Thank you for asking that. I did talk about the launch last November, Election Day. We did launch our magazine, and I can't say enough about the graphic work and the way you take my vision and put it on paper. I do a lot of the legwork, the writing of the articles, publishing my research down through the years, but the artwork is all Sister Hadida. Our signature product and service is the McKellar Longitudinal Women's Health Study. And that is a 35-page booklet. It's an intense booklet asking a lot of private questions about your life, how many sex partners you've had, what you have to eat, what it is that you drink, when you exercise, how stressful your life is.
Mhm.
And it is an anonymous study. It's double blind, so that even when I look at my own data, I have to say, oh, wow, that sounds like me. If I don't know my number right off, we won't be able to look at you and tell, oh, she's had 2 terminations of pregnancy.
Mhm.
It is extremely confidential. And right now, we have just hired a computer IT professional who is going to be taking us digital and making sure that it is 161 encrypted, I believe, so that there's no patient identifiable data. No one can snatch your information from the sky. And we take that data and we track it on a computer program to be able to predict who will get which illnesses so that we can work on prevention.
Wow.
And we have the Professor McKellar's bio diary where you can keep track of everything that happens to you. So when you go into your clinician's office, you will have the data when they ask you, well, how long have you had headaches? Sometimes people will say, oh, about 6 weeks, and it's actually been 6 months, because you know how time just passes so quickly. So those are a couple of our offerings. Thank you so much.
No problem. And I have one more question.
Okay.
How do you view entrepreneurialism as a way to impact and better the lives of women and children in our community? How do you think that we can advance ourselves forward as women, being able to represent our own idea of economics and what that stability looks like in our family?
I'm so glad that you asked that. I always say to people that growing up in East Texas and coming from a family of entrepreneurs, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, my great-grandfather was an orphan after slavery and built a very large farm. And I can remember kind of going to business school around the dinner table where they would say, baby, good jobs won't be here forever. You have to build your own. So I grew up hearing that you should create a job for yourself and then create a job for a couple of other people. And I believe that we're all doing that. And that certainly is the way with what people are calling the resurgence of racial issues. Those of us here know that we've always had racial issues, and I think that's really our key, is being in charge of our own destiny.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you.
To be able to create our own narrative that somebody else can't hand us, what they want us to, what position they want us to stay inside of this grand, scheme of business,
Yes.
And especially entrepreneurialism as it relates to the African American community in particular, and the advancement of our people out of what we are so used to seeing with the George Floyd incidents and incidents of Sister Kajimi and I were talking about hysterectomies and the plague that is plaguing our community right now, dealing with that sometimes the little bit of oomph of having additional money and additional resources can really make a difference in your healthcare and in your women's healthcare when it comes down to presenting yourself to the doctor. They don't just see you as a not knocking any woman, because I've been there myself, but a welfare recipient, opposed to someone who is having a big name medical insurance company providing all their care and their needs. And I know with you working in the medicine field that you can relate directly to that and seeing the fluctuations. I know that you can walk into a hospital, you can be seen, in the emergency room very easy. And I know quite a few women who go to the emergency room because they don't have the insurance they need to get other care. But then what does that create for us when we are able to change our own narratives, having the money we want within our own pockets, in our own homes, and able to get the healthcare we need? So thank you. Thank you for being here. Yes, and your contribution. Okay, Miss Quarterman, my dear mother, I want to know, how did you begin your company? What is the name of it? How did you begin your company? Tell us about you.
Well, I began, first of all, my company name is Creative Touch. And I came up with that name because everything I do, I'm creating it as I'm doing it. And I came up with that idea when I first had my daughter. My husband was the only one making money, and I was home alone with the baby, and I wanted some extra money. And I knew the only way I could get some extra money is I had to do something with my hands. So in doing that, I started crocheting my hot mats. These are hot mats. I started doing glitter with names on the cups. Then I started doing my creative touch little cards, my little sassy lady cards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically how I started doing it. And it's ways of making money and enjoying what I'm doing also. I also like doing my little pins. I got this idea.
Yes,
I had a sister-in-law.
Pins.
I had a sister-in-law. I had a sister-in-law. She inspired me because I was sick recently, and my therapist said you have to do some with your hands. And I remember my sister-in-law made some pins, and I said, well, maybe I could do that because I had to do things, picking up small items with my fingers. And by doing that, I said, well, maybe I could do the pins, and I could stick the pins. You know, it was hard for me to even put the beads onto the pins. So that was my therapy. So that's why I started doing it. But I got the idea from one of my sister-in-laws that started doing it, and I'm like, well, maybe I could do what she did, and I could do this as my therapy. So that's how I started.
So I have another question for you. Knowing that you started from the place of I have to find a way to be able to bring more money into the home and into my family, and knowing that you had the passion of being able to create something from what you were having inside, and you know, ultimately that's what I teach in the red tent, is that ability to tap into your womb power to manifest all that you want, whether it's physical items or whether it's the dream life that you want to have and that you want to create for yourself. How do you suggest women who are looking for ways to change their economic status, that may be going through hard times, that may be suffering from the pandemic, that may be, you know, or maybe are a single mom and they have a skill. And a lot of women may say, well, I don't have a skill. Okay, what is your suggestion as an elder in our community and as someone who's been around and given back? How do you think that they can enhance their family? And what words of encouragement do you have for them?
I say, whatever's your passion. If your passion is cooking, then bake stuff. Mm-hmm. If your passion is helping others, then serve the homeless. If your passion, whatever your passion is, do that. My passion is making stuff and seeing people happy. So that's my passion, and I just say do whatever makes you happy. Whatever that passion is, do that to make yourself happy. Mm-hmm. And as far as the words of encouragement, do what makes you. My thing is do whatever makes you happy. Mm-hmm. I believe in being happy, and whatever you're doing, enjoy doing it. Mm-hmm. So that's all I got to say.
Okay. So there we're my sister Kajumi, a very good friend of mine. Why did you begin? Why and how did you begin the Holistic Healers Network?
The Holistic Healers Network is still in its infancy stages. It conceptualized with me and my then husband speaking, and I was just very passionate about community and building a self-sustaining community where we're living off the land.
Yes.
I'm real big on community and us like bartering with one another, not worrying about what's going on outside in this world. Whatever's going on, we still can sustain ourselves because we each and every one of us has a skill, has resources that we can tap into with one another. Mm-hmm. Also to serve as an online platform for Holistic Healers Network, but mainly, no disrespect, everyone's welcome, but for the African American holistic healer, meaning that includes like Reiki practitioners, chiropractors, reflexologists, herbalists, acupuncturists, so on and so forth. So we can have a platform, right? Because we don't get recognized often to be patronized on what our skills are. So I wanted to create that platform for African American predominantly, to have a platform where they could share their skills and we could patronize each other in hopes of building that community of bartering one another and living off the land. Because I've had, to be honest with you, I'm just going to share, about my life. Yeah. I've had beautiful home. well, I should say, excuse me, beautiful houses, never feeling like a home. I'm from the Bronx, New York, from the hood, and that has been the best place that I've lived that felt like community. The neighbors, I could go if they saw me doing something, if any of us doing anything, we would get punished by them. If we needed anything to eat, things of that nature, we would barter with one another within the buildings. We were close with the police officers, things of that nature. It was a real community, and I haven't had that since I actually came back to Philly, in the hood, and having that community of feeding the homeless. We had a community of where we would gather together, get together, sisterhood, brotherhood, you know what I mean? And so it's real important for me to create that and to have that. But it's still in the infancy stages. It's a vision that I have. But being that I'm around these beautiful entrepreneurs that's making it happen, giving me that energy to push, that's what I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I thank you for having this. This is awesome.
What are some of the things that you visualize? I know that you're saying it's in the infancy stages, but me being close to you, I know that it's something that you're currently working on. What are some of the products and features or services other than the holistic community or the community that you want to create? What are some other aspects that you're possibly think or services you're thinking about making available to the community? Because I know the concept of communal living for me, when I think of it, I think, okay, this is a way for us to make sure that we are making our money stretch as much as possible. So now we're talking about, tonight we're talking about ways to increase our money and ways that we're bringing streams of income in. But then when you think about communal living, it's the idea of us all living together, living in this community, and possibly even sharing some of those responsibilities of bills and resources. And I think that we get really used to our space. We get really used to having big lavish houses and not having to have people power to our homes and feeling like we have a lot and enough of everything, but seeing the concept of the community living and that communal living that you want to do, I'm just thinking like, man, that would be an opportunity for us to really nail stacking a lot of cash, as far as save our money up, build our resources, and become more, bigger, quicker, in building economic stability. So sorry, but what are some of those other ideas that maybe you have to do with the Holistic Healers Network?
Well, offering spiritual subscription boxes on the network where it entails we're having like crystals, incense, affirmation cards, herbs, things of that nature. But the actual, I want to call it the land of Ma'at.
Yes.
So the land of Ma'at is going to be the land with housing made from natural resources, such as earth bag homes, dome homes, shipping container homes, things of that nature. And maybe because I'm one for space. Like I like community, but I like my space. So maybe having really sharing a common area, but then we have individualized homes on the land. And like, okay, you're the herbalist, you know what I mean? So we're going to barter with each other. You do your arts and crafts. You're a doctor, helping healing wounds and things of that nature. Both of y'all do it. So we're going to barter with one another. And they're going to come and patronize our, like the Black Wall Street is my vision. So let's create that again. Living off the land. We have our own banks, schools, cemeteries, everything, and leaving generational wealth, legacy, things of that nature. That's my vision. I've been in my own way. I'm just being honest with you here. And I just need to really get out of my own way. This right here is I'm facing the field with her having me talking.
Yes. But she's doing fabulous.
I like being behind the scenes. So, I'm grateful for this opportunity.
And y'all know that she's saying she's scared, but she's been on every single live. Because I'm trying to hear it.
I'm here to support you, and I have to do it. If I know I have to do it, then I do it. But I wish it just, well, it will.
It will.
It'll just flow.
And it is. And that's what sisterhood does.
Yeah.
It makes us have the support system that we need, that creates the backing and the confidence that we need to step out there and do something that we maybe have been afraid to do all of this time before. And when I thought, when you said about when I pictured the community you were talking about, it took me instantly back to my time in Mali and in Senegal, where we had a common courtyard space and there was multiple huts. So one family, and when I say family, I'm talking, the great-great-grandfather and great-great-grandmother all the way down to the current, if they're still alive, current children that are there are all living in one compound. That compound looks like one central area where we all gather, we eat, we sit, we do whatever talking and sharing ideas and whatever else we need to do, and then we all go and sleep in our own quarters. And so what that does, though, is it still ends up sharing the economic and the provisions. It still ends up sharing the provisions and the expenses of the family, but we're still living in community and we still have support. So as I'm sitting here and over these past couple of days and in this process of me birthing for this Yoni Love Herbals line, it made me constantly keep remembering the support system that I've had during this time when I've been building it. Dana and my mother and my sister Kajimni, all of us sitting here and me talking to them on an ongoing basis about what I wanted to manifest and what I wanted to create and what I'm birthing, essentially, because that's what the Red Tent is all about, birthing that physical product and life that we want to be able to tangibly touch, but also everything that we've ever dreamed of, and to be able to create that for our family. So I love the concept of the land of Ma'at, in this community living, and I can see all of us being on a coalition and pushing the idea of each other forward. And so I want to say to any sisters that may be watching this, if you are interested in any services that either we've mentioned here, or you are looking for a support system yourself, and you are trying to find a way to gain support as a woman in this day and age, if you are single, married, I don't care what your status is, contact me if you need that help. And I'm sure that between the four of us and whatever other resources we all have, we can be able to give you the help that you need and give you those services. You can email me at thisredtent@gmail.com, and I will make sure that I put it into the chat. Also, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them and to write them in the chat, and I will definitely answer them and make sure we answer them if you have questions about our organizations. Also, if you're just tuning in, I want to revisit the announcement that I did, that I have 2 opportunities available to the women that are in the community, and that is affiliate marketing program with the Yoni Love Herbals line. If you do not know, I just recently launched it on Wednesday. We are being sold in Walmart.com as of Sunday, tomorrow, or 2 days from now. And so I just want to be able to extend that. It's going to be opening up in June. It's going to be a very small window. It's not going to be open very long, but it's going to be a small window of time for women to be able to come in and be accepted into the affiliate marketing program and be able to gain money through the business of Yoni Steaming and referring the business. And then as a separate opportunity, I also have an opportunity for women who are looking to maybe open up their own Yoni Steaming franchise company, and to get a piece of the very large Yoni Love pie. So if you're interested in either one of those, say me, franchise, email me at thisredtent@gmail.com, and I will be sure to forward over the information to you. As far as me, I know it's my turn now. I'm going around the table for everybody to talk. I started Yoni Love Herbals because I was suffering with my own issues. I was diagnosed with PCOS at a very young age. I was told I would not be able to have children and all those kind of gruesome things that they tell you when you have PCOS. I suffer with my menstrual cycle. I had frequent yeast infections and BV. I tried the birth control and went through all of those different processes to try to find some relief from this PCOS. And it was not until I went to New Orleans and I went to college and I went there to be a neurosurgeon. I always had the dream of being a neurosurgeon from when I was a little girl. I was like, I'm going to do brain surgery when I get older. And I went down there with that dream and that goal. And Hurricane Katrina came 2 weeks later and washed me back up to Philly, where I was originally from. And so everything that I thought I knew that I wanted to do was like torn apart in 2 seconds and me being back up in Philly. And so I continued my study in the bio pre-med major, but then I realized, oh, okay, I think I want to do herbalism, because at that point I started having issues with my thyroid and things like that. And I was suffering with the PCOS, and thyroid issues is actually common, or PCOS is common in women who suffer with thyroid issues. And so I have hypoactive thyroid, and I was suffering with that, and I was looking for a solution to what I was not able to find a solution to. And the doctors were telling me, oh, you need to have, the chemo pill, and you're going to get sent away for the rest of the time, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not willing to do any of that. And so that started my journey of naturopathy, and started my journey of wanting to learn about herbs and natural healing. And so that's when I went into naturopathy. And during that time, of me suffering with the yeast infections and the PCOS and looking for solutions, I was praying. I'm a person that is very into spirituality, and I was praying to the Most High, asking for a solution week after week and month after month. And then I had a dream, and an elder came to me in a dream, and she handed me a variety of 14 herbs. In a variety of 14 herbs, she taught me the purpose for each and every one of those herbs, and said, when she was done, she shoved them to me and said, now go. And when she shoved them to me, it startled me out of my dream, and I sat up. And I remember sitting up all that night, writing down everything in a book that I had still on my desk, and writing down everything that I could possibly think of that she had said to me, and trying to recall that. And years passed where I did not tell anyone about the Yoni steam. I would just use the herbs she gave me myself, and I would, Yoni steam myself. And it was like here and there, and it wasn't on a consistent basis. And then about 9 months ago, I was diagnosed with a fibroid that was 4 centimeters. And I said, okay, this is getting a little bit out of hand, and I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. So I said, let me go back to the notes of what the elder told me in my dream and visit that. And so I started doing it way more consistently. And when I say way more consistently, 2 to 3 times a month, I was Yoni steaming on a consistent basis. And I was like, I'm between prayer and Yoni steaming, I'm going to find some kind of relief, because I know that herbs has that ability. And so fast forward some time, and after me, going through this whole Yoni steaming process, I went back to the doctor, and the doctor actually did an ultrasound and told me that the fibroid has shrunk down 1 centimeter. And I was astonished. I was amazed, but I was most grateful. I was grateful to this. And during that time, if you guys have watched any of my videos and the vlogs, then you know that I went to Mexico and I had a training there, and I did a lot of doula work. And during this trip that I was there, I went to the Temazcal, and in this Temazcal, I went and I began to pray about the herbs that were given to me. I prayed about the dream that I had. I prayed about whether I should bring what was given to me out to everyone else, whether I should tell people about it, because it was still something that it was like, okay, she gave this to me. And then I got that conviction, like, this is something you were given, but you weren't given for you to hold on to it. You were given this to share it with women, because there's umpteen million women who are going through the same issues that you are going through, who's suffering with the same problems you're suffering to, and you have been called to do a work that would help the community. And I must give a disclaimer that says, I am not saying I can heal your ailments, okay? And I'm not saying that Yoni Steam can heal you, but what I'm saying is I can help you in your process of self-care, in your process of helping your womb and healing your womb in whatever ways that you're doing it as an additional aid, to Yoni Steam, and bring about the clarity in the womb and the removal of toxins and things like that that are in the Yoni steams that I've created. And so my product line is a postpartum Yoni steam and blend for those women who have just gone through child labor and birth and who are looking for a solution to common issues that are going on during the postpartum time, such as the cramping that you sometimes get after you give birth and after your bleeding has stopped, because we don't suggest that you do Yoni steaming during the time that you have a menstrual cycle, but following it. And so the Yoni steam allows you to combat some of those issues that you have. And if you did not already watch the live that I just did right previous to this one, because it'll go more in detail, but at the same time, I'm not on this one. I have a fibroid and cyst shrinking regimen and blend that assists you in shrinking, helping to shrink down fibroids and cysts, which is the regimen that I used during that 9-month cycle when I was being adamant about my Yoni steaming every single week or every other week. I have an infertility blend for a fertility blend for women who are trying to conceive, to prepare the womb to be a nice, soft, squishy space for mothers who are trying to become fertile or increase their fertility and be able to conceive during their journey. We have a yeast and BV blend, which is the one that I used during the time when I was suffering with yeast and BV during my battle with PCOS. We have a peaceful perioding blend that helps to combat PMS and symptoms that are common during the PMS cycle, such as the cramping, such as the bloating. Sometimes, and the odor that women talk about that come with their cycles. And in another video, I'll get into it more, but 9 times out of 10, the blood itself is not the thing that's creating the odor. It's the chemicals of the products that we're using in addition to combining it with the blood that is creating the odor. But for some women who are having the vaginal odor outside of it just being their menstrual cycle, it helps with that as well. We have an original Yoni steaming blend for any women who are not dealing with a specific problem but are just looking for a regular self-care. They just want to get more into the self-care, more into loving themselves. We have a blend for you, and then we have a blend for those women who are in menopause and who are looking for a self-care and self-love. And we also talked about that Yoni steaming blend a little bit earlier in the live, so you can go back and watch that as well. In addition to the Yoni steams, we have a tea blend that goes with every single Yoni steam that I just named, as well as some affirmation ebooks and physical paperback books that are available if you want to use affirmations during your time Yoni steaming, and then a whole bunch more stuff that's getting ready to come this summer. So I want to segue back to the women that are here real quick and kind of just ask a couple of questions from the organization that I know that they have, and then we're going to end. So, Professor McKellar, I know that the Campus of Care is very active in the community, and I know that all the women that are here share a common feeling of compelling feeling to go and impact the community and those who are homeless and through outreach. I know that the Cody Foundation is very active in the community doing that. What are some ways that your organization impacts the those who are less privileged and who are, going through homelessness? What are some ways that your organization does that? You don't mind sharing?
I certainly don't mind at all, and I appreciate you for this platform. Everyone who knows me knows that my son Cody passed away 4 years ago. And before he passed away, he was a self-taught gourmet chef, college student, businessman, landlord, and he loved to prepare beautiful box lunches for the homeless. So we still do that through his foundation. And when we go out, I have a praise team, the Radical Voices of Praise, and we sing, we pray, we distribute pamphlets and information about the Campus of Care's products and services. And we're looking for a dream team choir, and there are many homeless people who are professional people who have an attorney had one bad case, and lost everything.
Right.
So we're looking to reclaim those people. Like Auntie Maxine says, we're reclaiming our time. When you're out on the street, sometimes time passes. People are away from their families. And just like you, we have an opportunity for women who want to earn some extra money to become a part of our sales force with the maternal fetal voice. So this is great timing with people working from home. We certainly have jobs and training programs to help educate the public through our maternity care coalition. We're looking to recruit 50 new doulas and midwives because the World Health Organization has said that we can decrease the maternal mortality rate drastically by recruiting and training Black doulas and Black midwives. More people in healthcare who look like you and me.
Yes.
Thank you.
What is the contact? Where can the subscribers and the viewers reach you? I will make sure, you guys, that I put everything down in the description box after this live is over. But if someone wants to reach out to you, where should they contact you at? What is your contact information?
Great. We can be contacted via phone at 1-888-74-WOMEN. 1-888-74-WOMEN. And our email is thecampusofcare@gmail.com.
Okay. Awesome. Mom, Miss Valerie, I know that you have the Gift of God organization and that you're very active in the community. Can you tell us a little bit about what is the outreach that you guys do in the community?
We feed the homeless. We mainly go to Center City, and we pack lunches and we give them out to different people. And every other month, we make care packages, and in the care packages, it's like toiletries and socks and T-shirts and stuff like that. So that's what we give out to the homeless every other month. But every month, we go out and feed them a full course lunch, beverage, sandwich, a snack, fruit. So it's always something that they can live off of for a couple of days, more than just that one day.
Okay. I know that
Contact me at Miss ValQ at AOL.com.
Okay. I know that you and Daddy, for those of you who know, my dad just transitioned last year, but I know that my mom and my dad did a lot of outreach together in the community, and it was something watching them active. I mean, I'm Muslim now, but I was raised in church, and coming from the background of giving and impacting the community and watching my parents do that was something that really, I think, fueled my passion for helping women, and watching my great uncle, who was the one who created the church that my mom and my family still attend to this day, was also instrumental in doing that. And I know, Mom, that you are very active in the organization, that you and Daddy built a team that was that's very powerful in the community, and they look forward to you coming out. What are some essential things for people who are in leadership positions that or who are assuming leadership positions, or who are looking for to assume in those positions? What are some of the suggestions that you would give to women who are looking to impact the community?
Well, if you're affiliated for church, because I do this through my church, by the way. If you're affiliated with a church, go talk to your pastor. That's what I did. I talked to my pastor, and he's the one that suggested that we go out to the community. And I took over from another couple that the husband died, but I wanted to go back to Center City because we have different organizations at the church doing stuff in that community, but not that many people are reaching out to the people out in Center City. So I would say go talk to your pastor, go talk to different city council people, and they may have contacts that you can contact, that they can give you suggestions as to where you could go to be able to reach these people at different locations.
Okay. My dear sister Kajuni, I met Kajuni in the spiritual circle that we both attended through a mutual friend of ours, and I worked with her firsthand in the outreach and feeding of the homeless and doing those different things. And I know we also share that passion in common. What are some of the ways that you are contributing to the community, and outreach, and what are some of the ways that you have contributed?
Awesome. Well, speaking of what you just spoke of, we used to go and feed the homeless here in Philadelphia. And that was awesome. In addition to that, we would pray, and encourage them, things of that nature. Where I'm in Augusta, Georgia now, and so I recently went to an organization that helps, low income individuals, homeless individuals, and I said, okay, how can I volunteer? And so you can come and volunteer and help. You come to set up shop. They have a shelter where they come and they get food. They come 7 days a week to get food, and you can come every day, and that's awesome. So I've done that. I've also part of a susu, which that's another way to build community and help us to achieve our goals and visions. A susu is a collective group of people, individuals that agree to a certain amount of money we're going to put into the pot every whatever week, 2 weeks, a certain amount, and then the 2 weeks is your turn, and then you get that sum of money to do whatever it is to better your vision, your goals, your plans, and so on and so forth. And so, in addition to not only doing that, we are offering where we have additional money that we put into the pot to give to a charity. And so we give to different charities. Some people have given stuff to Senegal to help people with clothes out there in Africa that don't have clothes, for food, for Qurans, because there are Muslims out there. Me personally, this past Ramadan, I gave to an organization to feed families during Ramadan. So just different things like that. Where my mom, she's in the senior citizen building. I grew up with my mom feeding everybody.
Right.
And it was such a blessing. It was a lady that she knew. She's everywhere she goes, she's like the mayor. But it was she is.
Wonderful.
Everybody knows her. And I'm just like, oh gosh, I'm not like her, but somewhat I am like her. So anyway, with that being said, this lady named Miss Peggy, this was in upstate New York in Beacon, would come and be like, okay, Jessie, my mom's name is Jessie, and give her this food, and we would go out into the community. We would go to senior citizen homes, set up shop. Okay, this is the table for produce. This is the table for pastries. This is the table for meat, and they would come down and bring it. And I remember that, and it was instilled in me. And she always did this. She would bring in the homeless. Okay, you need something to eat? I mean, our home is open to everybody. And so I think that contributed also to me wanting to build that community and help others. And every time I see a homeless, I'm just like, here, whatever I got, here, you got it. Even if it's just a hello, how you doing, a smile, I'm real passionate about it because I have my own situation with being homeless. I never had to eat out of garbage cans or anything like that. But I know what it is to stay outside, all night and things of that nature. So I'm really passionate about the homeless. If I could, that's another thing. I would like to build shipping container homes for the homeless. You know what I mean? Because
we will.
Oh,
we will.
So,
yes, around this table. Mom, I know that you have, or Miss Quarterman, I know that you were raised with Olga Mac, and he was very active in the community. What ways did you see? What are some of the things that you experienced during that time of him, being active in the community?
I know, like, we used to have vacation Bible school, and he would gather children in the neighborhood, put them in his car, and drive them to vacation Bible school. Same with Sunday school. He would just gather up children and bring them to church to Sunday school. He would also, if he had something, he saw somebody and they didn't have a pair of shoes, he would go in his house, get some shoes, and bring them out. We have a family that we're very close to. We saw them walking down the street in front of my church, and it was in the winter time, and they did not have winter clothes. He went and got clothes for them. My aunt got shoes for them, And to this day, we're still very friendly with that family
Like
because we helped them out in their time of need. So to answer your question, he was always giving to people in the neighborhood. However he could, he gave to the people in the neighborhood.
The red tent ourselves when this past month, as you guys know, I did a lot of videos about my Ramadan experiences, and last year we started an initiative in Senegal, West Africa, that feeds the people in the community that's there, a specific city that's called Tuba. We feed the community there, and we had a soup kitchen, and this actually started during the pandemic, but the pandemic last year was also during the time of Ramadan, so it was a double whammy. And if anybody in this community knows anything about Ramadan, you have to have food to break your fast with in order for you to be able to fast. And my spiritual teacher called me, we were having a conversation, and he was like, these people, I don't know how we're gonna fast, because these people don't even have the food to break the fast with. It's kind of like you're on a continual fast. We don't have the ability to go out and get the resources we need. We don't have the ability to go and shop at the market because everything is locked down. And they weren't as fortunate as the communities that are here in the U.S. and other communities around the world who are getting economic stimulus checks and things like this to assist. So if you know anything about Senegal, or if you've ever been to a indigenous community and any community outside the U.S. and you've gone into that community, you will quickly begin to notice that the people live off of their own hard work, and that if you are not out selling the goods that you have picked from the crops that you have in your backyard or from the tree that's outside your house, then you don't have a way to be able to make income and to have money and food for your family. And so during this pandemic time, I mean, when Ramadan came in, we had already been into the pandemic about 2 to 3 months. We were getting ready to go into the third month. So the little bit of stuff that they did have stockpiled had already been depleted. And so now we were looking at, okay, so now we're not only starving these past 2 months, then we get ready to start the remainder of Ramadan. And so I said to him, okay, we have to do something. We're getting ready to create a soup kitchen. And so I, with the help of my spiritual advisor and some other people over in the community, we sponsored a soup kitchen during the whole entire pandemic in the month of Ramadan last year in 2021. We sponsored that for them 3 days a week to be able to come. They can line up and they could fill up their bowl as much as they could and get the food that they needed to last them, for them, them and their family, however many members they have of their family, and to take it back home. And we did it every other day. And so this year during Ramadan, we did the same thing, except we expanded it a little bit more, and we were able to hire 10 people from out of the community to now work and gain some economic resources, from the work that they did for the month of Ramadan, and kind of stock up some cash to then go and also take food home to their families. And so I wanted to bring this to you guys tonight because I just want to give an idea of what being in this community of the red tent is really about. It's not just for me about being on YouTube, getting thousands of subscribers, figuring out how to make everybody see me. This for me is about a mission where I'm sincerely trying to help women not only heal their wounds, but heal their families, heal their mental, emotional, psychological situations that may be going on, and to provide for them an open ability to get in contact with other women who are doing the work and who maybe have resources that can impact the community, and to advance ourselves forward as women. Because if we are together, then our children are together, and our whole entire family is together, which is in our home, and therefore we are healing the nation. But if we are falling apart as women, and we are not able to stand firm as our place as women in the home and in our community, then the children fail at whatever they are trying to prosper at, because they don't have the nurturing and the mothering that they need. And then also our mates or significant others and husbands and whatever, your situation is also going to fall apart. And that makes me think about the same thing that I mentioned earlier on our live. Kajimi and I were sitting and we were watching YouTube earlier, and in the YouTube video, there was a live video where a brother came on, and him and his sister was sitting in a Chinese store, and inside the Chinese store there was a girl who came in 14 years old. Now, when I think 14 years old, I'm thinking this is 2 years beyond the age of my daughter. 14 years old, runs into the store, brand new baby, not even a day old, barely breathing, hands the baby to the woman in a brown towel. The baby had no clothes on, no diaper, no nothing, handed it to the couple that was there and ran out the door. Then we were sitting there and another video surfaced, a live video of we were freaking watching the news reporter talk about a young girl, 14 years old again, in Darby, right here up the street from where my house is, who left a baby on the back porch of a family who was in Darby, and a guy just happened to be walking by. Now, yesterday was 93 degrees, or Wednesday was 93 degrees. Yeah, that was yesterday. Was 2 days ago? 2 days. Wednesday was 93 degrees here in Philly. This baby was found outside on the back porch in 93-degree weather with a blanket over top of it, a white blanket, and the only reason the man knew that it was a child there and not an animal or something wrapped up in a blanket was because he saw the arm waving, and he went over to the blanket and found out it was a baby. And so what I'm saying is this is the reason, this is the passion behind why I created this red tent. I am so sad and disturbed, feeling this. I instantly felt pain in my womb, like I literally was going through the energy of this woman, the pain that I felt for this young girl who was 14 years old, two young girls who were 14 years old who had no home, I guess, that they felt like they could turn to, nobody that they felt like they can talk to, no place where they felt like they could be safe at. And then if they were running and they hand the baby off, then where did they give birth at? Where did they give birth at? Where were they when they gave birth? Who was checking up on their health? And another issue that's bothering me so bad is that this is an issue of social injustices and problems. This is not criminal injustices and problems. But in our society, when you drop a baby off on the back seat or in the backyard or in the dumpster of any common place, you are now going to be a criminal. And so for me, it's about creating a safe space for young girls. I don't care what your age is. If you're watching this, I don't care what your age is. For young girls, if you got to have a safe space where you can call myself, you can call Sister Dana McCullough, you can reach out to our email addresses where you can have a support system as a woman. If you are a grown woman, if you are looking for resources, you aren't young, you aren't 14 and 15, but you don't know what to do, you're going through pregnancy, you're going through hard times, you don't know what to do, we are here to assist you at this red tent. I am just saddened by the reality that this was somebody else's reality, that they didn't have that support that they felt like they needed, and they had to go through that. And like I said, the thing that hit me the hardest was not, okay, yes, the baby, of course, the baby's going to be taken care of. It was found. It was not that, the girl was giving birth and God knows where it was, but it was that after all of that had cleared, now this young girl, if she's found, is looking at the charges of a criminal case, when in actuality, she was really going through a situation of disparity, of sadness, and whatever other emotion she was feeling, and is now being criminalized for her inability to be able to take care of that child. And I understand the concept between, the decision to make that decision, but I'm thinking about my daughter who is 12. If she got, God forbid, pregnant at 14, would she feel safe enough to be able to come and tell me? And I make it a very open thing. You already know I'm open with y'all, and I'm just as open with her. And I'll let her know, listen, I'm here for you. You got aunts, you got a grandmother who are here, they're supporting you. You got women in the red tent, you got your family, you got your father, you got, all of these different people. But with my child in that moment of desperateness, feel like she didn't have a place that she can go and just drop the baby, somewhere and run and pray that nobody found out. So I'm going to open up the table if there's anything that you guys might want to comment about that situation, whatever you might want to say, because it really hit me hard. this morning, it took me a long time to get myself together. And so the live that was supposed to be at 12 didn't happen until like 3 because I just had to collect myself and just process what is my. I feel like I know that I'm doing a lot, but I feel like I'm not doing enough when something like that happens, in our community. So I'm going to open up the table, the floor. Y'all can say if y'all want to share anything that you might want to share in relation to that or anything else.
Yes.
Okay.
I did not hear about either of those incidents that you're talking about, so thank you for letting me know. But in most states, there are safe baby projects where if you are in any way in a tight situation, that you can drop off a baby at the nearest hospital, fire department, or a police station without questions asked and without any harm, as opposed to, as Sister Hadida says, just running off and now placing yourself in harm's way. That is tragic. And then you also mentioned that these are social issues, and in public health we have something called the social determinants of health that state that basically the way that you grow up, if you have proper housing, if you have food, access to education, that will affect your health outcomes. So you're absolutely correct that all of this spins back to social issues. And if we can get to the root of some of these social issues, then we can have better health outcomes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That was the first thing that Jimmy said. She was just like, "Don't we still have the rule where you can walk into any, any safe haven and drop the baby off there with no questions asked and not be, underneath those charges?" But I can imagine the panic,
the terror.
I know that when I was 21 and giving the birth on the table, and birthing my child into this world and feeling like, oh my God, I'm about to be a mom at 21, I was scared in some sort of way. There was a fear inside of me, not knowing if I was going to be able to amount up to what it took to be a mom, if I was going to be able to live up to what her expectations might be of me or, of myself, and the requirements we place on ourselves to perform, in society with our loved ones. So I'm grateful that you mentioned that again, because in my sadness right now, I still forgot to mention that. But that was the first thing that Sister Kajani said to me. And I was just like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Like there's safe havens, but I knew that there was something that had to be done, because even with that opportunity there, she didn't do that. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that was the hurtful part for me, and being a woman, and doing what we do, was like, man, she didn't do that. So what was the barrier and what's the disconnect?
It's us. It's public education.
Absolutely.
What we're doing right tonight.
Exactly.
We have to make sure that we consistently let people know what their alternatives are. So, thank you for this platform.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, that's that's why it's so hard, important, I should say, to build community, because we had the place of the land of my okay, no problem, embrace teaching you, educating you, to have a safe space, not to worry about those issues. But maybe in this day and age, fire department, police station, hospitals, and they're like, okay, maybe you say it's a safe space, but what's going on?
But right, and that's where my mind went.
Very, very good.
Right.
These are real issues that we have to say.
Right.
If you call 911 for help with a family member who's having a mental health crisis, how many times have we heard, even before the pandemic, and especially in the pandemic,
they got shot instead of help?
So thank you for that reminder.
Yeah. So she might be like, oh, I don't know, they might arrest me, they might kill me.
Right.
You never know. So that just came to me. I'm like, wait.
Right. Right. Yes.
So then it's on us.
Right.
Yes.
To have our safe haven.
Yes.
To build our community.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
This is wonderful.
Are there any questions or comments that you guys might want to make? Don't hesitate to put them down in the chat. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm thinking that we're probably going to come to an end I don't have anything else that I want to share. I believe that the ladies, if everybody's hearts and minds are clear.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to thank you guys for coming and viewing this. As I stated before, I did make the announcement, but I'm gonna say it one more time. If you're just coming on, I see that like we had a couple of new people come in. I am opening up 2 opportunities with the line that I just launched called Yoni Love Herbals. I just launched it on Wednesday. I am opening up 2 opportunities. The first one is an affiliate marketing program that is called Yoni Love Ambassadors. If you are passionate about Yoni steaming and women's health in any way, shape, or form, it is an opportunity for you to create more financial stability for you and your family through the Yoni Love Herbals line, and to be able to sell it and to receive a commission for every single Yoni steam that you refer, every single customer that you refer to Yoni Love Herbals. And then for those women who are looking to take the business to a next level and franchise underneath us, we will be having franchises available in the beginning of June. More information will be coming out, but if you are interested in that, please drop your email down in the chat and I will send out the information to you. In the message, of course, just say whether it's the franchise or the affiliate marketing so I can know which information to send to you. My email is thisredtent@gmail.com. You can reach out to me there. And this is just, like I said, an opportunity to franchise and to get a piece of the very large Yoni Love Herbals pie. So I am grateful. This has been an excellent and very empowering 3 days of support from the women and community that I have here and that I have with Yoni Love Herbals. I'm super excited about the fact that we will be carried in Walmart come Sunday. That's super exciting for me. You know, it's changing the face and the game of women's health, women's feminine care, and the whole 9 yards in the African American as well as the female and women community. I love you guys, collective, and I want to say peace and love and blessings to you. Thank you for watching.